on the comments. If you're so healthy, why are you yawning? I don't know, because it's 10 o'clock at night, and I've been up all day since like 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock? 6:30, honestly. Did I eat a grapefruit today? I think I did. I think I ate a grapefruit today. Yes, I did. I see the rind in my trash can. Yeah, had a grapefruit, had a big old lubrication formula, some eggs. I've got some buttermilk here with some tuna for dinner. A little light, because I had that big old lubrication formula earlier. And I probably ate, I don't know, 6, 7 eggs. It seriously was 6 to 7 eggs. I wasn't being facetious. Let's see here. Yeah, so we're going to turn off the gaming stream for right now. It's not a gaming stream. I'm not going to do that. I'm too tired. I don't like to game when I'm tired. It's not fun. Especially when I play comp. I lose. Or I make tactical errors. Civilization. So, but yeah, hey, Primal Diet conference tickets are on sale. Early bird tickets are on sale. Get them while they're hot. Or while we still have them. There's only like 10 or 20 available, so. So I'm having egg white because I live in Florida, the hydrate, but I had to stop because I was getting stomach problems like many people do also. Yeah, are your eggs completely soy free? That'd be interesting to know. And are you eating the eggs cold or room temperature? I think it has something to do with the temperature of the eggs and what people are eating them with. I mean, if you eat the eggs with, let's put it this way, if you make a lubrication formula with the whole egg, it doesn't give you problems. You may just need to eat corn and soy free. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the whites provide something that is detoxifying in the bowels. You know, some people just don't do good with eggs. So, I mean, I honestly, I really wouldn't spend money on eggs if I don't do well with them. You know, if the eggs upset your stomach, don't eat them. I find that certain times of the year, the eggs might give me a little indigestion, but if I eat cheese, it goes away. So I'm always eating cheese with eggs, and I don't really have this problem. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting that, you know, Augenis never had this question in a setting where he was recorded and could tell us. He'd probably have some interesting answer. I know the Eggs and Cheese book might have some insights to this. I haven't really read that one, though, because I just, you know, we eat eggs and cheese. What's the secret? Why am I going to read the book if I just already eat eggs and cheese, you know? So, but maybe that answer's in there for you. So, yeah, I would just stop buying eggs and just buy, you know, dairy and meat. So, if you mix the eggs and other formulas and stuff, I mean, does it still give you that problem or no? Because that could be telling. Remember, the egg white's like protein mostly. So, uh-oh. What happened? There we go. The egg white is protein mostly, so it probably interacts differently with the intestines and utilized differently than the yolk, I think. So, but again, I don't know for sure. That's just my hunch. That's just what the vibes tell me. Mmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I said. That was my intuition. So yeah, that's why you eat cheese with the eggs, like I said, or butter. Butter's okay, cheese is better. Best seafood? Scallops, oysters, tuna, swordfish, pollock. It's hard to choose one. Baby scallops, mackerel. You know, those are my top. Those are my seafood. That's my seafood bracket list. How I rank and stack those up, I don't really know. Sorry to say. But if you can get any of those, I would. Hello, hello, hello. I honestly don't know how much of that meat I'm going to eat. I'm pretty full. Um, Seafood is more adapted to be frozen. I don't want to say it's like good, but it's okay. Hold on, I gotta chew this. It's tough. Okay. Do I like clams? These are my thoughts on clams. I used to enjoy clam chowder very much. Delicious. Raw clams, not a fan. I feel like my sense of smell is coming back. Maybe it's just because I should have muted. I'm sorry. The weather's changing. Um, Clams I don't like. They're good iodine source, but I do not like the way they taste. At least the clams I tried. They're also a bit cumbersome to open. You can't use an oyster knife. You need to get like a clam knife or a clam spoon or whatever. So, not really my favorite. I'd rather just eat oysters and scallops. Just got some more raw milk yesterday. Nice. I'm about to get some more raw milk tomorrow. Headed to get some milk and probably some honey as well. I'm kind of running low-ish. I have my honey I eat and then my honey I use for, stuff, so I like to have two separate ones. Yeah, I think Revive is great. I use one. It's good. I recommend Revive. Get the R3 though. Don't mess around. Just get the R3. You can say you already bought some and you get it for $30. Don't The R3 is like really good because of the way it's designed. It's more sturdy. So, you know, in the long run, it's going to be better for you. Better bang for your buck. So, yeah. I get local honey. It doesn't have a brand. The EU conference, I'll show up. Getting your Spanish passport soon. Very nice. Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. I don't know when yet. It's not official, but, you know, we want to try to do them in Australia and Europe, regions of the U.S., like California. You have one East Coast, West Coast. And maybe in Asia, maybe in Thailand. So, Asia, Australia, Europe. That's the game plan. It depends if it gets heated when it's creamed. I'm not really an expert on that. I know honey crystallizes, but I know creamed honey is different than crystallized honey, so do some questions. A conference in Mumbai? I would. I don't know if it would be in Mumbai. We would probably go to I'd probably do like what is it? Not Ladakh. I'd probably go north to Ladakh in the mountains. Maybe Rajasthan in the desert. Maybe even Nepal. But honestly, if we go Asia, it'll probably be somewhere like Thailand. Probably be somewhere like Thailand. I guess we could do South America too. I think El Salvador is probably the you know, the ticket there. But yeah, I mean, I would go to South Asia and do a conference. I used to live in South Asia, so there are primal dieters in India. Actually, there's not a lot, but there's a few. Um, it's actually part of Nepali culture to eat raw meat as well. In Indian culture, cuisine, very big on like raw dairy and stuff. So you know, there's certainly a an avenue for it. Yeah. And it's also not just catering to the people who live in those countries, but the expats who live in those countries as well, especially in places like Southeast Asia. So, yeah. I think it would work. I mean, I would go to India again, honestly. Well, I would go to South Asia again. I haven't been to India, but I would go to South Asia again. It's nice in small doses, especially if you get out of these cities, which are just polluted dumps. Honestly, I used to live there. That was crazy. That was nuts. Well, I guess when you're young, it's a little different, you know. Just it's a lot worse now, honestly. What I've heard. Iran conference. No, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe after the regime change. Maybe after the regime change, we'll see. Do I believe most Augener's stories? I don't know about. Well, it depends on what you mean by stories. Like his biographical stories. I don't know. His client stories, yeah, most of them. But his biographical stories are, yeah. I mean, he was a dramatist, a thespian. So you know, he was an actor. You know, he was an exaggerator. He was a drama queen. Okay, I say that. You know, not actually a drama queen, but you know, he had to hype it up. He had to ham it up for attention to get out his name out there and get people to remember his stories and such. So, you know, you always have that. I mean, I keep it pretty real, honestly. I don't really get too much into exaggerations. Sometimes I do hyperboles and exaggerations, but it's more so like about topics and jokes. It's not, you know, me not my life story. I don't talk about how I had 300 heart attacks by the time I was 5 years old, and I was fed rabbits by coyotes because I was starving myself in the plains of, what was that, North Dakota or something, South Dakota, and yeah, just all that stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, I saw some clips of him circling around online, but I don't know where. I didn't really care enough to save them. But yeah, he was an actor. Oh, he was on I think someone out in LA. I don't know if it was Chris Kazam. They have a B-roll of him on General Hospital. He was on General Hospital. It's funny. My grandma used to watch that show all the time. That was one of her shows. She said, "Oh, I got to watch my shows," and it was General Hospital and All My Children, daytime soap operas, which is really kind of funny because the daytime soap operas, that's a relic of the 90s and the early 2000s. Uh, they don't exist anymore, really. So, or maybe they do. Let me check. General Hospital. Let's see if it's still in syndication. Oh, it's still running on Hulu. Yeah, still on Hulu. All My Children. Yeah, it'd be funny if because I used to watch these sometimes, or they would be on. All My Children is not on anymore. It'd be funny if I actually saw Augenus on the TV when I was a young lad, because my grandma would have these on all the time. The odds I saw them were actually probably pretty high. So, any fruits I eat the skin of, any berry, peaches, apples, um, plums. Let's see here. That's pretty much it, isn't it? Yeah, because like everything else has a peel, or I don't eat it. I don't really eat tomato skins. Cherry tomato skins I eat. Regular tomato skins I don't. I cut them. I, I, I peel them. Grapes, I eat grape skins. Yeah. I guess if I can eat the skin, I do. Cucumbers are an exception. I don't do that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm so tired. I don't know why. I guess maybe my circadian rhythm is on lock because I've been waking up early and I've been going to bed on time. I've been falling asleep. So, yeah, pretty good. Kudos to me. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's true. Here's the thing. I don't get any of my fruit from the store. Like, I get it from the farmers markets. It's local. So, I know where it comes from. That's pretty much the situation with all of my fruit. So, I can't eat that. Yeah, but yeah, apples, cucumbers, any citrus pretty much has wax on it in the store, paraffin wax. But again, you just peel that stuff, it's no problem. Skin comes off, wax comes off. Wax on, wax off, Mr. Miyagi. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Danielson, wax on, wax off. You see? Kind of want to play the Resident Evil game and stream that, but I I don't know if my laptop can run it. I don't know if I have the NVIDIA graphics card to do that. Thank you, Fendrana. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Salmon is fine to consume if it's wild caught. It depends on where you're getting it, honestly. Depends on where you're getting it. I know some people who they have a source of salmon. I don't know where it comes from. It's the distributor. I don't know, but they get salmon and they have no problems with it. But there has been times where they've gotten salmon from other places and it was not good for them. So I think it really just depends on where it's coming from. I'm not really too into salmon. I don't really like eating salmon too much. So I'm more of a tuna guy, a swordfish guy, a mackerel guy, some escalar maybe. You know, not a big salmon guy. Like when I go get my sushi treats, I don't get the salmon sushi. It's kind of a no-go for me because all that salmon is generally farmed salmon, so it's not good quality. Are you not happy that Trump has engaged in the World War III? I think it's kind of funny. I've always said Trump was going to drag us into war with Iran since over a year ago. I knew this was coming. I've been saying it. Maybe not. No, I think I tweeted about it. I think I tweeted about it. Maybe I should retweet that. Yeah, I tweeted about this. Yeah, I've read that cyber hackers in Iran are trying to hack the credit system, the financial system, to erase all the debt of Americans. I think that would be amazing if all of our debt was just erased overnight. That would be amazing. It would be so cool. Basically, yeah, it is World War III because um, Azerbaijan is supposedly going to mount attacks into Iran. Um, Russia's backing Iran. They said, I think they said they were going to give nukes to Iran, which is like crazy escalation. Crazy escalation. Um, the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and that cuts off a significant amount of trade for the world, but especially for the Gulf states. Like, I mean, like all those people depend on imports for food. Like 80% of their food is imported. So the longer that stays closed, the worse it's going to be for that entire region. Oil prices are going to go up all over Asia because China is buying Iran's oil, right? Okay. So China's buying Iran's oil very cheap because Iran can't sell it anywhere else. And so China's selling all that oil to Asian countries for a profit. Now, China can't get oil for themselves and they can't get oil to sell to other people. All their oil is going to stay internally in China now. They're not going to be able to sell. So all the other Asian countries that buy from China are going to be hurting as well. So it's this mass, like, political, geopolitical, economic domino effect of closing this strait. And they're talking about the war's going to last till September. That's insane. It's never going to be over because all these other countries are getting involved now. Um, they're literally just starting this war so they don't have to go to prison for the Epstein files. All the powers that be. That's why they're doing this. you know, and because Israel wants us to. So that's the other reason. So it's going to be a very tumultuous thing. I also saw something about the National Guard being mobilized in urban centers in the United States because of this escalation, because of possible future escalation. It would be very unpopular. So, yeah, I think that's really interesting, especially like around the election time. If there's unrest, of course, you throw in the possibility of false flags to drag us further into war, to manufacture consensus for the American people. It's a very tricky, sticky game. No one is really going to end up the winner except for the banks. There's a lot of things going on. People tried to withdraw billions of dollars from BlackRock, and they capped it at a percentage, and they're not giving out the money. They're not giving back the money, so that's really concerning. Along with, dismal job reports month over month, year over year. Things are just getting just really bad. Like, it's not, and I don't really worry about it. I just kind of laugh. I mean, I don't know. What else can I do? I can't really do anything. I can just keep doing what I'm doing, just keep living my life as best I can and have a positive attitude. That's really all you can do. Be prepared, I guess. Eating this way is certainly a good preparation because I'm healthy and I don't need to cook my food. I don't really care. So, thoughts on Resident Raw? Yeah, Leo's a good kid. He's a bit of an antagonistic guy. It's pretty funny though, but he's just sort of a bombastic kind of fella, I think. Very, what's the word? I know there's a word for it, but I forget. Very, yeah, I think antagonistic is probably a good word. I'm not saying it's bad. That's just kind of his style. That's just his style. What will I do when I be drafted? I'm too old to be drafted. So I don't care. But yeah, they are going to draft people. The draft will probably come back. Food prices are going to get insane. Not really in my neck of the woods. I think there might be some increases, but generally, like, the food prices are for the region where the Strait of Hormuz is shut down. That's pretty much it. Yeah. No, I don't think that's the purpose of the National Guard, is to, like, take people for the draft, for the war. Um, I just don't see that happening. I think it's more civil unrest. Yeah, but I can't go. I can't be drafted. I'm too old. The draft is for men's like eight. It's for men like 18 to 25, and that's the first wave. And then there's the second wave. Let me look that up actually. How would a draft work? I know it's tiered, and you get a number. I mean, everybody's like uncle was drafted, and uncle, dad, whatever. So Congress has to pass a draft. Yeah, I don't really see Congress passing a draft, honestly. Yeah, it's 18 to 25. Order of call. 20 years or older would be called first. Then it goes 21, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, then 19 and 18. Yeah, if I'm 35, I'm too old. Yeah, I'm unk, so I'm not going to get drafted. I can't. The cutoff is 26. Able-bodied men between 17 and 44 as part of the militia. They could be conscripted, but in practice, the draft would be younger men, and only people would be drafted if manpower needs are not met. So it would be like I don't know how they would stage it from there. If they would go up or down in age for availability, but yeah. So, I mean, the United States has Venezuela. That's why we took out Venezuela before we strike Iran, because we knew that was going to happen with the oil. See, we don't depend on Iran's oil. Of course, they have a effect on the global market, but If the United States can secure their own sources of oil, then it gives us security. That's why we attacked and invaded Venezuela and took it over, basically. So now we have all that Venezuelan oil, so we don't have to worry about that. And it also keeps China out of it while we invaded Iran and other allies. You see, that's why they did that. Does that make sense? So it was for the resources. So now that we have control on those resources, China can't get them, Russia can't get them. They're for us while we have been striking Iran and the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Other countries can't get this oil. It's a big blow to them. It's a big blow to them. So yeah, see, Iran is attacking all of its neighbors, so it's trying to draw in everybody else, and by extension, like Russia. I mean, we're already fighting a proxy war with Russia and Ukraine. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if China makes a move on Taiwan now. The more embroiled we get with Iran, the more that will embolden China to take Taiwan. Because if we've cut off their oil, they're gonna, they're gonna take some measures, like, and that could be cutting off the semiconductors and taking Taiwan, or at least destroying them, because I think the consensus is that they would rather like burn down the semi fabs in Taiwan and Taipei than let China take them over to give them that advantage. So yeah, I could honestly see China invading Taiwan in you know a couple months, honestly, because if we're getting dragged on in this war, like it would make sense for China to do it, because we can't support operations in Ukraine and Iran and in the Pacific. It doesn't, and China has way more subs and aircraft. Like China's naval capacity exceeds ours greatly. Of course, we have better tech, but China has the numbers in the waters, so that's a problem. And China needs to act before we can tool up to combat them in the seas. So it would really make sense for them to attack and take over Iran, or I'm sorry, Taiwan, and make their move now in a few months when we're still, dealing with this mess, before like we get tooled up by Anduril with, autonomous drone submarines. Macadamia nuts for nut formula, not recommended. Pecans, walnuts, hazelnuts. That's what you need. Yeah. Expect no more electronics, bro. Oh, I know. I know. I have to start building them here, honestly. Of course, I hear they're pretty secret. I mean, all that stuff's pretty secret. Like, you don't know who's actually making them, the inventors, and, like, it's all very hush hush. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But global fallout for sure. It's not going to get better anytime soon. This is a mess. It's a big mess. We have, I think, 18 more days before there's like serious problems with the Strait of Hormuz. Like, if that thing's shut for a month, it's over. Like, it's going to be really bad. Yeah, well, it is what it is. That's just the world we live in. What can you do about it? You just keep on trucking. Just keep on trucking. Yeah, so I don't know. 4 viewers, 2 likes. Thanks for hanging out. I hope the geopolitical talk does not bore you, but it's a little prescient. it's relevant. And I am kind of versed in this sort of thing, so to some degree, not like a super geopolitical expert, but I've been following the situation. I've been monitoring the situation. Um, the war is only getting worse by the day. Yeah, exactly. It's not getting better. So there is no way America can wage an air and ground war in China. Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't. It would mostly be fought in the Pacific, and through like maybe I don't know. We don't have sleeper agents really, I guess, but you know, yeah, it would be really messy. It is your fate on the line. Well, I mean, not really. Not really. I live in Middle America. I'm pretty safe, so and I don't know what kind of crazies are going to get activated by Iran and do anything, but I'm sure there will be some of that. But generally, that's going to be the bigger cities. It's going to be the bigger cities on the coast, maybe Texas. Well, there was that shooting in Texas. That's my point. So, you know, pretty insulated where I am. I'm not really worried about my safety or whatever. China has deleted many Mossad agents and CIA in China. Yeah, the Chinese are ruthless. They know what they're doing. So they know what they're doing. So yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, we won't be able to do anything if they invade Taiwan. They have to know that. They have to have some sort of contingencies, you know. But I think that's why we want to let Japan remilitarize because I think the United States knows that we can't do everything. So if we have our ally Japan remilitarize, then they can shoulder some of the burden there. Yeah, L.A., Washington, um, also like Miami, Dallas, Seattle, Chicago. These all these kinds of cities. So yeah, yeah. North Korea threat. North Korea is like a little dog that just barks a lot. North Korea isn't actually a threat. So yeah. Man, this is some geopolitical. I don't think we've gotten this heavy in geopolitics, but that's what the chat was. That's what the chat wanted, so that's what they got. But yeah, I mean, Japan. It isn't so much North Korea as it is China, honestly, because China is staking claims to islands. There's a lot of little islands in the area south of Taiwan, or I'm sorry, north of Taiwan, that breach into Japan and the South China Sea. So, China's moving it around these islands and saying, oh, these are our islands now. And Japan can't do anything because they don't have the firepower to back it up and defend these assets. So, that's what China's doing. And Japan doesn't like it because they're encroaching. And Japan has a lot of people. And they have a capable military, so. Yeah. No, I used to teach in Taiwan. I took Arabic in college. I almost went to go teach in the Gulf states, but I didn't. I lived in Nepal, and after living in Nepal, um, I took a job in Taiwan, and I taught in Taiwan. Taught English in Taiwan, so that was a fun time. It was good times. It was hot, a lot of bugs, very humid. I wasn't too crazy about that, but the food was amazing. The people were nice. The job was pretty chill for the most part. So it was a decent experience. Got to see some sights, places of Taiwan. Yeah, So many bugs, though. Oh my god. Not a fan. Yep. Yeah, nothing will ever come of that, by the way. Um, you know, they're having some elections right now, I think, and nothing's going to come of it. I mean, that country's just a mess. They can't they can't sustain a representative democracy. They really just need to go back to the monarchy. What happened was the Chinese government was funding Maoist insurgencies in the 90s, and I know this because I actually studied Nepal's political history, and I lived there twice. So I'm not exactly an expert, but I'm knowledgeable. So what happened was there was a monarchy for many centuries actually, and they kept the British at bay. Everybody they kept everybody at bay, and because of the Gorkhas are like these soldiers, just super like badass fighting machines. Really nice guys though, and just yeah, a force to be reckoned with. Nepal's geography is also helpful in keeping them secure. Very hilly, lots of mountains, very spread out, not developed. It's hard to get around, so they have that advantage, and also very strong people. And eventually, China builds up these Maoist insurgencies and this political movement, and they end up assassinating the royal family. The royal family was in the palace, and there was a big gunfight. They stormed the palace and they killed the king, I think the queen, and some of the children, not all of them. And then there was a civil war, basically. And they tried to, um, you know, set up democracy, democratic government, with the king still involved, but then it fell apart, and then like they had a really bad civil war. When was that? It ended in 2007, but they went back and forth between having a parliament and not, and how the king worked with that, and people in general also didn't really want 1996 to 2006. It was between the kingdom's rulers and the Communist Party. Yep. Yeah. So it's like I'm just reading the Wikipedia to refresh. Yeah. Yeah. Um, the government controlled the main cities. The Maoists dominated the rural areas. Even still, when I would travel through rural areas, they would hold up chains or rope to block off vehicles to take money from them. I met a business owner, a restaurant owner, one time. I was playing music for this restaurant with a friend, my Nepali friend, and we were. It was really nice. They treated us to food and drinks and everything after, and he was complaining about how he was kidnapped by Maoists. He was like, "Oh, I hate the Maoists. I hate the Maoists. I was kidnapped by the Maoists, and they wanted to take my money and my business." And I told him, "No, f you." And it was a pretty crazy story. And yeah, just like the whole country was in disarray. And even after the war ended, people would run into other people who oh, you killed my family or my brother or something, and then they would get into a huge fight and people would die. Like that stuff still happened after the war. Like that's how serious these people took this stuff. But yeah, the war ended in 2007, 2006, and then their country kind of stabilized. Um, But yeah, the United States was definitely supporting the monarchy because they that was who they had a relationship with. Um, yeah, and Nixon actually paid um, the Nepal government $1 million back in the 70s to outlaw marijuana because all the hippies were going to Nepal to do that sort of thing. um, but yeah, so long-standing traditions with them, the royal peoples, royal families. So anyway, yeah, but the Maoists, man, this is the country's. It's a joke. Like they're not doing anything. I'm looking at the polls here. Uh, I guess the new party is the Rashtriya Swatantra Party. Punished old parties for their failure to deliver abuse of power, widespread corruption. I guess they were able to capitalize on the disjointed youth. The big three, the Maoist Party, it's funny. There's like the Maoist Party and the Communist Party, the RSP Party. I don't know about this. They're new. I wasn't. They weren't around when I lived there. Mm, I don't know exactly where or how. The Royalist Party. Uh, yeah, they didn't do well. So yeah, I don't know. What are they? Are they communists? Let me check. We got talking about Nepal. What is this? Yeah. Oh no, I don't want to do that. What's their platform? Um, yeah, yeah. I like the rural places in Nepal. It's very laid back, very peaceful. It could be a little sketch. See if you're white. Honestly, I mean any country like that. Let's see here: economic liberalism, constitutional socialism, progressivism. Okay, absentee ballots. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna. Yeah, that's not gonna work in Nepal. That's stupid. Wow. National Independence Party, centrist. It's better than being a communist, but it's yeah. Anyway, anyway, beef isn't satisfying enough. I don't know what that means. Eating more raw steak from now on. Yeah, very high in altitude and climate. Yeah, the CCP founded the king's demise. I bet the Americans were involved. No, um, the Americans were supporting the king, like I said. The Communist Party of China wanted to fund and train the Maoists to infiltrate Nepal. Foods are best to feed a small turtle. We've been over this. Lettuce, vegetables, and fruits, basically, and small insects. Turtles are omnivores. Nepal conference. Yeah, it could be. What's a good meat? I gave him beef, but I want to know what's the best or better. I wouldn't feed the turtles beef and ruminant meats. I would feed the turtles bugs. I wouldn't feed the turtles anything but bugs in terms of meat. You can store butter at room temp. I keep a container of butter on the counter at all times because it stays soft. So like when I need to use it for loop formulas, I can melt it down fast or whatever makes sauces. It's a lot faster than having to heat it up from the fridge. So um, yeah, good meat for turtles is bugs. So just buy bugs from the pet store. Yeah, I never dated Nepali women, so that didn't happen. Yeah, I probably could have like stayed and got a wife, but I don't know. I didn't really want to spend the rest of my life in some secluded mountain village, but I could have. The butter doesn't change; it just gets soft. So I like that because it's easy to work with for things. But if I'm eating butter plain with dates or something, I like to eat it cold. Yeah, I leave my butter on the counter. It's fine for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Honestly, if you're leaving butter on the counter and it lasts you for more than 2 weeks, you're not eating enough butter. That's all I gotta say. I go through it like a quarter pound of butter a day at least. Yeah, I could have. I could have, but I didn't. I mean, I guess I always could. I could go back there and do that, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe yeah. If all else fails, I'll move back to Nepal, and I'll hike around the rural villages and find a nice rural village, but it doesn't have a lot of bugs and mosquitoes. And yeah, I mean, comparatively speaking, Nepali girls are pretty attractive. They're not a lot better than India. I'll say that. You have a lot of different admixtures in Nepal. You have like Mongolians, Tibetans, native Nepalis, um, people from East Asia. So it's very diverse in that respect. Why does animal fat oxidize? All fats oxidize in your body because for your body to use fats, it has to oxidize them. Nepal is cold. Um, it depends. So in the jungles, um, Nepal doesn't really get too cold. In the south, in the plains, in the jungles. In the winter, in the plains, like the middle elevation, Kathmandu, for instance, it gets cold. It gets chilly. It doesn't snow, but it gets cold. And of course, in the higher altitudes, yes, it gets very cold. It gets cold. It snows a lot. Um, well, actually, it doesn't snow that much. It can. It depends on the region. The winds change because of the mountains. So yeah, basically. Um, but yeah, it gets cold, but it doesn't get like freezing in most places unless you're like in the mountains in the north. So and I trekked in the winter, in January and February, in the middle of winter. I was trekking, and it was as cold as it was going to get. And it was cold. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't get quite as cold as it does in Ohio sometimes. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of snow in some parts, in some days. Like there was one time I was trekking, my second time there, and we decided to stay. My feet were messed up. Long story, and we decided to stay an extra day to just like let my feet rest. And there was a huge snowstorm, and like it covered the mountains where we were gonna be going, and we're just like yeah, let's just not continue because that's like too much. Just like better safe than sorry. Because you're out there, man. There's like nobody there. You get hurt, there's no doctors. Not that that's always a good thing, but like, you break a bone or something, or like you're screwed. You have to like walk several miles to a village to get people to like come and help you. You fall down a hill. You fall down one of those. I say hill. It's like a mountain. You fall down one of those, you're gonna fall continuously for several hundred feet at least. Rocks, trees, all the way down. You're gonna get banged up, and you're gonna be down there. And how are people gonna get you? It's gonna take, it's gonna take like a whole day for someone to get you. By that time, you bled out. Yeah, so you got to be careful. My friend, he was an old hippie, and he said he saw people like trying to take a picture on the trail, and someone was like taking the picture. It's like, oh yeah, moving the frame, moving the frame, and this girl kept moving in the frame, and then she moved off the trail, and she died trying to take a picture because she stepped one wrong step, and it wasn't like she fell off a cliff. She just fell down a hill. She fell down a hill and she died. You think like, oh, I could fall down a hill and I'd be all right. It's like, no, like, because these hills are like hundreds of feet and very steep. And once you get going, you can't stop. So, yes, Nepal is cold in the winter in the mountains. Um, yeah, but I kind of like that because like I said, I don't like bugs. So I like to go to Nepal in the winter. It's the off season. It's a little more chill. Um, I also like to see the snow on the mountains. Like when you can stay up in the mountains, and you have the views of like the Himalayan range, and it snows. That's how you get the best pictures because the snow makes the mountains look 4 times bigger. For whatever reason, it's some weird optical illusion, but it snows in the mountains, they get like 4 times bigger. Makes for amazing pictures. So, thoughts on NutriBullet? Yes, oxidation is not really an issue with that kind of stuff. At least I don't think it is for someone who isn't dying of cancer. Maybe if you need all those extra nutrients, it's a problem and you should do it, but I don't. Um, making coconut cream, it's really not the way to do it that way. You can strain it and all that, but it's really not as good. You really need the juicer to get the coconut cream because you're not exactly getting coconut cream when you do that because it's too liquidy. So, I mean, it's better than nothing if you want, I guess, but I don't really, I'm not, it's not something I do. It's not something I put in the effort to do to make coconut cream with a blender because I don't really know if it'd be worth it with the time and the effort, and you're just not getting a good product. It may be worth it, but I don't know. Non-radioactive seafood. That would be the Atlantic Ocean. Uh-oh. It would be the Atlantic Ocean. Um, the Pacific, yeah, I don't really worry about that though. Honestly, I don't really care. I eat the tuna I'm eating is probably from the Pacific Ocean. I don't really care. Um, West Coast oysters, I don't care. Seafood from Japan, I don't really care. Um, it's not something I really worry about. But yeah, if you want to avoid it, don't eat seafood from the Pacific. It's that easy. There you go. Question answered. Another happy customer. Billions served. You know, what is that about McDonald's when it says billions served? Is it like billions of people because of like the human meat they serve, or is it all the customers? Makes you think. Makes you think. The poke bowls in Hawaii are amazing. Yeah, I'm sure they are. We have poke bowls here in Ohio, and they're pretty good too. Not that I eat them a lot. I don't think I've actually ever had a poke bowl, but I've had kind of the ingredients, you know. So yeah. Have I played the new Marathon FPS game? No, I don't even know what that is. Like I don't play new games at all. That gnomes game looked pretty fun. Stealing gnomes. Oh, I see here. A team-based survival extraction. No, never even heard of it. I'd be interested in playing the new Resident Evil game, but I don't know if my PC could run it. I don't know if my laptop could run it, to be honest. I don't know if I have the Nvidia card. Spiritual health. Yeah. If you're not healthy nutritionally, though, you're probably not going to have a good connection with God because your your faculties will be reduced to that of an animal. You'll be nothing more than a beast of the field, and you won't be able to navigate to or channel God because you'll be sinning, and sin will keep you away from God and doing good things. So, you're the best and most underrated primal influencer, in my opinion. Thank you. Yeah, I just try to keep it real. Um, we keep it real here. We're not flashy. We're not, I don't try to grift people like some people. I don't try to be something I'm not. I don't try to make the diet something it is not. The diet is what it is. It's not for everybody, and I don't really care what if someone was. I was talking in a TikTok live with this kid, Enzo Health. He's like, and I'm not. I'm just doing the voice so you know it's him. I'm not trying to make fun of him. He's like, I just don't really buy the primal diet because there's no studies on it. There's like no studies to back it up. And it's like for me, like I don't know about the primal diet because there's no studies. It's like, okay, dude, like whatever. I don't care. I'm not trying to sell you about the primal diet. Like, why are you trying to make this about you? Why are you trying to make this conversation about you? Like your opinions are relevant on health. It's like you're a kid who didn't have any health problems. Like that's the thing. It's it's just these kids who never had serious health problems, and then they start eating healthy and they stop eating bad food. And honestly, them stopping eating bad food is the reason they look better and feel better. It doesn't necessarily have to do with eating good food. It helps, but if you stop eating the trash and the garbage, you're going to get better. Because there's plenty of people who have similar, glow ups or ascensions, if you will, just by doing regular cooked diets and not eating crap. So, I mean, it's like why am I going to listen to you? It's like I had brutal insomnia for 7 months, 7, 8 months, something like that, and I solved it with the diet. Right? Nothing else worked. Nothing else worked. Literally nothing else worked. There were no other answers. No one, no one I knew I could find went through what I went through, and I had to solve it all myself, and I did it. I've had breakouts of severe, just insane rashes. Well, just once, but last summer. It's just insane, just out of nowhere, and I solved it because some lady who knew Ajanas told me what to do. She was a client. I couldn't gain weight. It was hard for me to gain weight. It just took a long time, but I did it. Um, what else? Tinnitus, yeah, still a problem, but I got rid of the sensitivity to noise. Um, yeah, I don't know. Just terrible detoxifications, meningitis, temperatures 105 degrees for 3 days, 4 days, and I got through it with the diet. I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't take any pills. But thank you. What do you think about Freemasonry? I think it's crooked. I think that's what about it. I think it's no good. Do you know how to get scar tissue off of vocal cords? Yes, actually. Ajanas talked about this. You have to gargle like whey in a little apple cider vinegar once a day or so. You gargle that and it should dissolve it. And then um, also include things in your diet like coconut cream and olive oil. You know, the olive oil is good for getting rid of scar tissue. But yeah, whey and apple cider vinegar, I think that's what it was. You can look it up. It's online for sure. I think he was talking about this. It was someone was talking about surgery or something. It was post or pre-surgery or maybe why someone needed surgery. But yeah, there was something about that for sure. Scar tissue is where your body makes a scar and it's the tissue from the scar. It doesn't come back as regular skin, it's scar tissue. Benign moles, yeah, I mean, honestly, you could just cut them off if you want to. But that's kind of messy and bloody and hurts. So just put pineapple on them. Just keep putting pineapple on them until they get black and fall off. Whey, like, just whey. I mean, look it up online. I remember reading about it online. So it's not a secret. And I'm not exactly sure if the context was scar tissue, but it had something to do with somebody had a throat issue, pre-surgery, post-surgery, something like this, and he recommended gargling like whey or apple cider vinegar, or maybe a combination of both. But you want to have olive oil in your diet as well because that gets rid of scar tissue. And things like pineapple, of course. I mean, all those things. Grapefruit, like those would all be good things to have in your diet to help scar tissue. So, yeah. Olive oil is overheated. It's pretty good, yeah. No, there is no specific brand of whey. You just make whey from your milk. For apple cider vinegar, I like using Fairchild's. Olive oil is not a seed oil, olives or fruit. Ketosis, I don't know about that. Inflammation. Inflammation isn't a problem. Inflammation is the body healing itself, so. It's a sneed oil. That's what it is. I get facial pressure when I drink raw milk. Um, well, I mean, the whey is for the throat, it's not the drink. I drank a lot of lube formula, now I have a fever. Do you think this is related? Yeah, it's probably a detox. Just sweat it out. Take a bath. Bundle up in a bunch of hot water bottles. Yeah, just do that. So, yeah, do that. That's what you need. Can't be real. What the heck? Yeah, of course. Um, yeah, so your body builds up nutrients and then it uses them to detoxify the body. That's what happens when you do the diet. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens when you eat raw food. You detox. It doesn't matter what its purpose is, it all is going to make you detox eventually. Yeah, those are mechanisms where your body is detoxifying. So if you're not getting colds and fevers, it's not a good thing because it means your body isn't detoxing properly. It doesn't have those channels. So you want those things to happen, honestly. Four viewers, three likes. Kind of quiet tonight, to be honest. That's okay. What time is it? Is it 11 yet? Oh, it's 11. I'll probably go for another 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm going to wind down, drink my buttermilk. Drink my buttermilk. And then I go to bed. So, yeah. Is it true that when a fever happens, your body has been preparing? Yes. Usually that's the end. The fever is kind of like the end. In my experience, yeah, because like sometimes I'll wake up in a sweat and then I'll feel better. And that's kind of like it. After that happens, I feel better. I can't eat stuff like oxtail. I eat stuff like oxtail all the time. It's a little chewier, but it's doable. You know? The tougher meats are actually going to help build your face muscles and your neck muscles better. So, I mean, if you want to cook something and it's oxtail and it's a little bit, it's not going to like hurt you, but I just don't really see the need. I'm just lazy. It's like I said, it's more for me that I'm just lazy and raw food just happens to have the benefits. Ugh. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny, kind of Excellent Health said that. It's not that hard to eat oxtail raw, honestly. I've done it. Wouldn't it be impossible? Yes. Yes. It would take several lifetimes to do that. Um, so yeah, do the math. Do the math. Yeah. Well, you probably feel a lot better, that's for sure. Oh well. Yeah, many such cases. Why would it be impossible? Because it just takes too long. It takes anywhere from 6 months to 20 years to get rid of one injection. So you do the math. And I mean, 6 months is probably even too low. It could be like a few years, honestly. So I mean, if you've had 20 or 30, like you're never getting them out of your life in your whole lifetime. There's not enough time. It's a whole lifetime of detoxing. I'm still pretty young. Yeah. I mean, as long as you don't get any more, you'll be all right. You just have to do the diet. But honestly, at your age, living in the country you've been living in, most likely, you've probably had at least 30 of these already. So if you followed the schedule is like 72, I think, recommended in some places. Some places it's 100. I had 48 total. And my last one was when I was like 24, 23. So it was over for me before it even began, you know. But whatever, you just got to keep on going, keep on trucking. Blood and bowel movements. Uh, if it's black, that means it's coming from the stomach, pre-intestine. If it's red, that means it's coming after the stomach in your intestines or your rectum, and it's generally not an issue. So if you're bleeding profusely, like when you're not having bowel movements and you're bleeding, that's a problem. But if you're just having blood in your bowel movements, sometimes a little bit, occasionally, it can come and go. It could be indicative of an ulcer. It could be indicative of a lot of things. But and generally, if there's no pain with your bleeding, it's not really anything to worry about. Honestly, just do the cabbage juice and that will help stop up the bleeding. You can get some raw eggs in there. Do your milkshakes. Build up the mucus lining of your intestines and everything, and you'll be all right. If you're bleeding a little bit, it's not a problem at all. If you're bleeding and there's some pain, that could be cause for concern. If you're bleeding a lot, like I said, if you're not having bowel movements and you have blood coming out of you, that's a problem. Yeah, so you're fine. I wouldn't worry about it. I've had a lot of clients who've had that sort of bleeding. Generally, it happens around when they're having a detox, and it happens for a day or two. They'll do the cabbage juice and it goes away, so it's not a problem. And generally, these things happen without pain. So, like I said, it's not uncommon, but it's not a problem, honestly. You know, and that's the thing is your body knows what to do. Like the longer you're on this diet and the weird things that come out of your body, honestly, you'll just be less scared. Um, a lot of what's scary about this diet is the reactions and the cleansings, and people freak out. But once you get through them and you realize what you can get through with just food, you learn to trust the process and to not freak out. I speak from experience. Does Ajna say why they give V's to control people? Yes, pretty much control. Money and control. I don't remember getting many shots Yeah, you might not have gotten many shots. It depends on your parents and where you live. So, no veggie juice and lymph baths. Yeah, you may not need the vegetable juices, depending on your age and what you grew up on eating. So, you know, not too bad. Not too bad. The vegetable juices have their uses, but it's not the most important thing. Audrina said the vegetable juices are the most expendable part of the diet. And I would agree. Because you can do okay on alkalinity with the sport formula and grapefruit and figs. And partially on the meat. Does YouTube take down stuff if you talk about injections? Yeah, probably. I don't talk about them. I censor my speech, yeah, for that very reason. For several of these reasons, yeah. There's no reason to. I mean, we all know what we're talking about here. We're all intelligent. They're always listening on the algorithm, so you have to be careful. At least I try to be. Because I've had this experience with social media, right? So I know what it's like to be censored and shadow banned and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't do that. Lymphatic. Whoa. Okay, let me try that again. The lymphatic system is made to carry nutrients to the body, right? Uh, to parts of the body, yeah. In the body, yeah. It's that's what Augustus says. I think there's some truth to that. The blood, the circulatory system also does this in a way. I think there might be instances, or rather, certain nutrients that travel in either or of those pathways. Maybe not both at the same time or all of them, but I think they might have different uses. But I don't know. That's just my hunch. That's just my intuition, going completely just off of nothing. I could be wrong. So that's just my take. But maybe there's a way to find out or see. I don't know. 8 more of this tuna than I thought. 7 viewers. Where are we at? 5 likes? 5 viewers, 5 likes. Wow, look at that synergy. Amazing. Why don't you ever do the nut formula? Uh, so mostly just because I'm lazy. Number one. Number two, um, I for so long, I never had a good source of butter. Right. So obviously, nut formula is just butter, mostly. And I never decided to use my butter for the nut formula. I rather used it for lubrication formulas. I'd rather used it for sauces for my meat meals. And now, actually, I am planning to make some nut formula. This is in the works. I have a special seed that no one has ever used before, and I'm going to make some nut formula with it. I have high hopes for the outcome. It's going to be very good. I have faith. And yeah, so I've got a nice butter plug now. I pay $5 a pound for butter. So now I've got more butter. I'm open to doing more nut formulas. So it's just the nuts, they can get kind of expensive, but yeah, I'm not against nut formula. I think it's a good thing. Um, we're gonna get, like I said, we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna do a recipe soon, so not going to lie. I just don't fancy white meat, like chicken too much, but can eat fish and red meat normally. If I can eat fish, would I need to eat chicken? Or not really. It would probably help, but if you do fish and beef, that's good. Fish and beef. If you can do fish and beef and pork, you'll be solid. For weight gain, I'm nervous to mess up with the timing and mixing of foods. You don't have to worry about this. The only things you need to worry about are vegetable juice. Vegetable juice, always an hour before, always 2 hours after meat. So space out meat and vegetable juice an hour before meat, 2 hours after meat. Basically, the other timings are not so important. The most important one is the vegetable juice and the meat. Just keep that away from each other and you'll be fine. Would you say to do for allergies and food sensitivities? Eat the foods you can eat and you're not sensitive to. That's what you should do. Papaya custard. I've done papaya custard. Like I said, I'm lazy. It's kind of a process. It's not something I need. My prerogative for making the formulas or specific formulas is my need. If I need this stuff, I do it. If I don't need this stuff, I'll eat a grapefruit. I'll have some butter with my meat. I'll have a little honey with my meat. Meat and fat, and maybe a little honey. I keep it simple nowadays, pretty much. Maybe I'll dice up some parsley. In the summer, also, like, here's the thing. In the winter, very bare bones. In the summer, I have more fresh ingredients, fresh local ingredients, fruits, herbs, veggies. Yeah. So with those three things, I can do a lot more and be fancy. But again, I'm lazy. It takes work to be fancy. I'm pretty content just eating meat and butter and a little honey or some sauce, making some sauce. Like, that's kind of the limit. So like I said, it's just based on my prerogative and what I need. And I do what I need. I enjoy simple stuff. I'm not that. I mean, yeah, so is the purpose of detox for the body to lose excess weight, fat gained? No, not exactly. The purpose of the detox is the body to detox. You're not necessarily losing weight or fat gained. There's plenty of people who detox without gaining weight. It happens. And they have a terrible, miserable time. The purpose of detox is for your body to get something out of the body that shouldn't be there. Something was introduced to the body at a certain point, and the body stored it away to prevent damage. That's why, like, the stomach lining is so sensitive, and why a lot of people have problems with egg whites, because your stomach lining is very tough, and the body sends a lot of toxins there. So, yeah, so that's the purpose of detox, is to detox. It'll be better if you're fat. It'll be worse if you're not. No, the butter is exclusive plug to me. It's local. They thought about doing shipping, but they don't want to mess with it. It also wouldn't be that cheap if you have to ship it in. It would still be like $10 a pound, which is cheaper, but they don't really want to mess with shipping because they don't want to set up. They're like really Amish. They don't want to set up credit cards and stuff like that, you know. What's the point of detoxing if you can't get rid of all the heavy metals? Well, you can get rid of some of them, and isn't that better than getting rid of none of them? My friend has pancreatic cancer. He's had for 9 years. He's in his 40s. He told me he had some of his pancreas removed and some lymph nodes, maybe some other stuff. Any tips I should recommend to him? Yeah, do the diet. Read the books. Just tell him to read the books first, and either if he reads the books and it resonates with him, then he can do the diet. But otherwise, I really wouldn't try to force it on him. Just say, here, I think you should really read this book, and let him read We Want to Live and make up his own mind. Because you could try to tell him, but, you know, he may not listen. Maybe he will, but it might be better if you just have him read the book. But he needs to just do the diet. Lots of fat, lots of bone marrow, lots of white fish, some beef, baths every day. Yeah. Just, doing the diet. Celery juice and parsley, you know. Meat and fish, white fish, bone marrow, butter, cream, organs and glands, yeah. You're on your Padre Pio arc with this beard. Oh, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. God bless. Yeah, I've decided to grow out the beard a little bit. Of course, spring is approaching, and I will probably get rid of it soon. Yeah. I don't. I don't like having too much of a beard. I've been trimming the stash because it gets in the way of the food. So that's pretty much the only maintenance I do. But yeah, I don't even know if I'll cut my hair. I'm probably not going to cut my hair. I'm probably going to let it grow out a little more. But yeah, I'm definitely going to trim off the beard here. It's getting kind of old. Maybe in April. And then I'll grow back a little beard, and I'll have to clean up for the conference a little bit in June. Conference tickets on sale, by the way, guys. Early bird tickets, get them while they're hot. We have a new tier this year, so actually, let's just pull up the screen here, and we'll just do it to it here. I'll show you guys. I'll give you a sneak peek. Let's go. We want to, yes, window sharing. Hold on. We'll go through what the conference. The schedule's not on there, but it's done. So we have the schedule ready to go. So this is the new Primal Diet website, pretty much. We're keeping the We Want to Live and the primaldiet.net as kind of an archive, but we're doing our website here. So this is the new website. So yeah, pretty slick. Articles and such. So just a little bit. So you go to events. And here we got all our events. So virtual and in person. So we do have virtual stuff. So there's a topic every month. No, wait, that's not it. This is the virtual meeting. I think it's just general Q&A, and there's some like wellness classes or whatever. But anyway, so we're gonna go here. The fourth Sundays, 4 to 6 Eastern Standard Time. There's scholarships for people in financial aid, like if you want to come to the stuff and you can't pay. So just saying. Anyway, yeah, June 11th through the 14th. It's going to be at Burke's Garden. So this is the school/gym. This is actually the gymnasium, where we're actually going to have a dance. We're going to have line dancing Saturday night, so you can come hang out and dance with the pros and other people and have fun. And yeah, so this is the gymnasium, and there's a school and stuff too where we have classrooms and a kitchen and everything. So yeah, beginners program. So there's different tracks. So if you're here to answer questions and learn about the diet, and if you've been on the diet, then you can get more in-depth stuff. And if you're just here for social, you don't want to attend classes, just relax. You got access to the food, dancing, support groups and stuff. And then we got something for the kids. So yeah, June 10th, Wednesday night, you get a fish supper dinner. Oysters and fish. So right now, early bird. So early bird is $355 for everything. That would be the educational tracks for all the classes. If you just want to come, and if you're a member, it's $315. And if you want to be a member, if you want to just be a social person, it's just $200. And you may. Oh wait, this is early bird, so it's $150 right now for early bird. Oh no, that's members. But I think that's a typo. I think it should be early bird. There should be early bird pricing for this. Anyway, there will be early bird pricing for this social track. But yeah, so there's still support groups and stuff. You can go to the dances and hang out and stuff and play games and all that kind of stuff. So that's what that is. Either we got financial aid for people, so we don't turn anybody away. You know, if you want to give a class, you might be able to do that. You get some perks for that. It's $50 a day for food, all you can eat juices, fresh, butchered lamb and poultry, eggs, milk, butter, cheese, cream, everything. You can bring your own food. Um, yeah, so that's it. That's you can go check it out there if you want. It's yeah. So it's gonna be a good year. I feel like we're gonna have a good turnout. We're gonna cap it at 75 people. So that's the limit. How many people came to the conference last year? We had 46 people, I think. 45, 46 people last year. Yeah, I mean, you could send him the workshop or the book. It depends if he wants to read, if he wants to listen. Yeah. Well, you don't have that problem here because we've never had a bad thing. So, you know, everybody's vetted before they come. They pay, and, you know, we make sure they're not crazy. Honestly, if you're going to spend this kind of money, you're not going to be crazy, honestly. So, you know, having these paid type of events really filter out a lot of the mental illness and unsavory people. So, you don't have to worry about that. But we had 45 great people last year. It's a family-friendly event, right? We had several children in attendance. The youngest was I believe like a year old, and it was just this chunky healthy baby. He was constantly eating like butter and chicken and anything he could get his hands on. It was pretty cool to see. He didn't cry or fuss at all. He was very well behaved, very happy baby. A couple other young kids there, probably like 5, 6 years old, 7 years old. Um, yeah, it was just family friendly event, very chill. Um, Parents, some expecting parents, some couples, singles, you know, pretty much every age from like I said, we had baby, young kids. We didn't have any teenagers, but we did have people like 18 and up, pretty much 18 to like 74 was the age. So, you know, pretty much everyone is there. We had Amos Miller come last year. Amos Miller came and gave a speech. I got to eat raw meat with Amos Miller. He's a cool guy. He eats raw meat. Um, yeah, Dancing with the Stars, Dancing with the Primals. No, but I mean, we're gonna have. I think this guy from Terrain Theory. He has a band called the Red Pill Band, and they might be playing. And then they hired a line dancing band. We're hiring a line dancing band, I guess, to do line dancing. Now, I won't be there because I don't dance. I'm going to go probably sleep and and sleep because I work crazy hours during this thing. So I don't dance. It's not for me. So I won't be there dancing, but you know, people will be, and you know, it's a great social event. You can go, like I said, you can dance with the pros. The Primal Huzz will be there. We have a fair number of, you know, women attend this event, which is maybe shocking to you because this is a very male-dominated space. But I assure you, it is very equal in the pool of demographics of men and women there. So, you know, if you are trying to find some pros, you know, to make your primal homestead, this is a good place to come. That's all I got to say. Yeah, most people are not willing to do the primal diet unless they're desperate. It's very true. What's up, man? Just starting the primal diet after some consideration. Frozen meat and the like. A lot of primal eaters say frozen is bad. It has to be fresh, but how can you do fresh every day? Um, yes, Primal Huzz, aka the Pruz. Yeah. Um, you can eat fresh every day by going to the store if you want. I buy meat once a week. I keep it in a jar, ball jar. Check out my storage solutions video. And I show you the type of jars you should have and containers. If you pack up a ball jar nice and tight with meat, it'll stay fresh longer. You only need to buy meat once a week and maybe twice a week. You buy, 2, 3 pounds at a time. It'll be fine. 3, 4 pounds at a time, you'll be fine. Um, Air chilled chicken. Go to the store, buy air chilled chicken, only air chilled. Do not buy any other chicken except air chilled chicken. It's very important. The beef at the supermarket is sprayed. Watch my sprayed meat video. I do have a herd share where I hook people up with a herd share to fresh, never frozen, never sprayed, never medicated, injected sheep, pork, poultry, horse. So it's worth it if you want to spend that kind of money. $100 to sign up, $20 to the farmer for a fee, and then you get access to the prices, or rather the goods. And yeah, I mean, find a butcher that doesn't spray with chemicals. Find a butcher that processes with vinegar and water. That's the best you can do in the U.S. Air chilled chicken's the best you can do. So yeah, that's what you got to do. Even the grass-fed ones? What do you mean, even the grass-fed ones? The grass-fed pruz? Yeah, sure. It's having a noticeable detox once every 6 months at decent frequency. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I think every 3 to 4 months would be better, but yeah, every 6 months is good. Yeah, sprayed meat. It doesn't matter because everything's USDA processed. It doesn't matter how something is raised. It's processed in a USDA facility. There's certain requirements and guidelines they have to go through. Watch my videos about sprayed meat. That explains it all there. There's 2 videos about sprayed meat. Watch them. Red 40 hamburger is my favorite. Timmy Balenciaga. Okay. Yeah, I like the pink slime in your Red 40, bud. I don't like ground meat. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're just getting into meat, don't buy ground meat because it will turn faster, and it's probably got a bunch of chemicals in it because it goes through these machines it's gross. Um, yeah. Um, the ground meat also oxidizes, so it's not as healing. So stay away from that. If you want to get it ground once, only once. Yeah. I'll bring zebra cakes and Nutter Butters to the Primal conference. All right, I mean, you can if you want. No one's probably going to eat them with you, but if you want to do that, you can. Like I said there in the disclaimer, we don't turn away people who bring their own food or bring cooked food. Yeah, it's fine, Time Machine. Grind it once yourself is probably the best way to do it because you don't have to worry about your materials being contaminated. It's not going to be as cheap because you're still going to have to buy the whole cuts. But if you grind chuck, it might be cheap. It might be just as cheap. Yeah, but you don't have to worry about those chemicals. Devil dogs. All right, so no more ground beef for me. Yeah, ground beef is the number one thing that stalls people's progress. Everybody I talk to who's having problems, like they reach a plateau, it's ground beef. They're eating ground beef. Eat cuts of meat. It's more appetizing and it's better for you. It's more healing. So, the way in which I'm able to pate all the fatty portions too, which with a regular food processor never get pated well enough. Yeah, that's a bummer. Did the water bottle cure tinnitus? Heck no. No, it doesn't. The water bottle doesn't cure tinnitus. Tinnitus isn't just heavy metals leaving the brain. It can be that, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's more a problem with the inner ear or the middle ear or something in the brain. I think it's a neurological issue. It's damage to the nerves. So, like right now, it's not too bad, but I still hear it. Yeah, tinnitus is really not good long term because it causes brain fatigue, memory issues. Like I never started having memory issues until I got tinnitus. And when I had insomnia and tinnitus, I don't remember the year I had insomnia. I literally can't remember pretty much anything about the time that I had insomnia. Insomnia, and I had the tinnitus happen at the same time. I can't remember anything because I couldn't sleep enough to create short-term memory storage for my days. So like I was just a zombie for months and months and months. And I don't really remember much about what happened. I have trouble figuring out what time that year is. I think it was in 2022. I think it was in 2022. Yeah, early 2022. Let me check. Yeah, it was 2022, man. Yeah, it was 2022, man. So 4 years ago. Wow. I didn't start the diet. I didn't start the diet because of tinnitus. I was on the diet for pretty much 4 years by that point. That would have been my fourth year. So I was grateful I knew about it. But again, it didn't solve my tinnitus. What it did was it helped my sensitivity. It helped heal my nerves in my brain or wherever because I was very sensitive to noises after my work accident, and I was able to tolerate more. But I still have ringing. Like I don't think it's ever gonna go away. The last time I drank water, let me think. Monday, maybe Sunday. I think Sunday was the last time I drank water. Um, I might have had a little sip or two throughout the week because I brush my teeth with water usually, and I'll take like maybe a tablespoon or two, a sip before I. But yeah, I haven't had like any water this week. And I haven't had any water this week. Normally in the winter, I don't need water because like I'm doing the lube formulas and the milkshakes and the milk and the buttermilk, a grapefruit. I don't need it. I don't need it, and I'm not sweating. But as I sweat and the weather gets more, I will want more water, and things like that. So a cup of water or maybe two a day. Lemonade is something I like to do. Lemonade with an egg or whatever. It's good. Does Audrina have any protocols for hearing, like for eyesight? Beef and butter. Beef and butter for the ears. Longest fermented thing so far? Up there, and it's all for sale. My sign's backwards, but yeah, all that high meat is for sale. It's years old. Liver, some chicken, and some fish. Mostly one, two, three, four things of liver. One of them I can't open though. One thing of chicken, one thing of fish. They're all for sale. U.S. only, Cash App only, if you want them. I think the oldest one I had was 3 years old, high meat, and it was at the conference last year. That high meat is now like almost 4 years old now. So yeah, I don't eat high meat anymore. That's why it's just sitting there. I was thinking about just throwing it away because I don't really want to go through the hassle of cleaning all that. I have so many ball jars anyway. But I was like, well, why can't I just sell them? So I'm just gonna sell them. Maybe we'll see. We'll see if anybody bites. We'll see if anybody wants to buy it. I mean, if you're into that, you don't have to wait 4 years. You can buy it and have it right now. I'd sell it like $50 a jar. $50 a jar. I think that's pretty fair for 4 years old high meat, 3 years old high meat that you can't get it anywhere else. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So I don't know how many people we got here. 9 likes, 7 viewers. Wow, amazing! Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Yeah, I hope you guys like that thumbnail with John Candy and Chris Farley. I thought that was pretty funny. Hey, Randy Bobandy. I'll have another video out this weekend. I don't know which one I'm gonna publish, but it'll be a good one. It'll be genuinely fire. So, yeah. Well, any other comments, questions, concerns? I'm gonna wrap it up here, fellas. I say fellas because I'm pretty sure there's not a female watching, a single female watching, which is okay. I mean, it is what it is. How come you don't make the primal cheesecake? 'Cause I'm lazy. I'm lazy. The other thing is I like to just put it in my mouth. I like the cold butter and the cheese and the honey. They taste better when they're separate, and I just eat them and in my mouth together. That's what I like. I generally don't eat a lot of cheese and honey because I drink a lot of clabbered milk and buttered milk with the honey. So that's kind of like cheese and honey, basically. I'm just asking because I saw the jar. I don't like the taste of organs. I eat just muscle meat. Yeah. No, fair question. Fair question. They're up there and they're for sale. What benefit eating cheese and butter together? Well, that's the cheesecake recipe. Cheese, butter, and honey is really good for you. And that's the cheesecake recipe. So, yeah. There you go. Can I answer your question? Cheese, butter, and honey, it's deep enough in the live stream. You get this elite knowledge. Cheese, butter, and honey was something Augustus started eating after he stopped working out, and that helped him retain his strength and muscle mass. That's like the number one thing that will help you retain your frame and your muscle mass is cheese, butter, and honey, because it's got fat, protein, and minerals, carbs. So, do I crave chocolate? I never wanted chocolate. I've only ever wanted liver. No, but for real, I don't. I had someone bought me. I forget, it was a family member. They bought me this chocolate hand pie, artisanal, organic, everything, right? And I ate it. And this was probably 5 years ago. And I ate it. It was for like Valentine's Day. It made me sick. Not like ill sick, but I felt my nerves were not pleasant the next day. I didn't feel right. I didn't feel good. And yeah. So no, I don't have any craving or wish to eat chocolate again because I'm too sensitive to that stuff. If I eat chocolate, it's going to wreak havoc on my nerves. I don't want that. Just like coffee. What if you only had pasteurized salted cheese? Would the cheese, butter, honey thing work to preserve muscle mass with that too? I don't know. Maybe a little bit, but the salt's not good, so. Salt dries your system out. I'm gonna pull some Huzz soon at the fair. No, you need to pull some Pruz at the Primal Diet Conference. That's what you need. Better get some tickets while they're cheap. They're gonna go. They're gonna go fast. In honor of all the Primal brothers. Okay. Good for you. That sounds fun, I guess. Not really. Are you sure you're not going to be like Jester Maxing too much? Are you going to Jester Max to try to pull the Huzz? This kind of sounds embarrassing. That's honestly why I stopped talking to women. It's just Jester Maxing. It's just such a chore to get to know someone and perform and just like you want to be authentic, but you can't be so authentic it's going to scare people away. And I kind of struggle with that because I'm just like, I just don't care anymore. Hey, yo, Chris just started drinking the sugarcane juice. Yeah, isn't it great? Isn't it amazing? Isn't it so yummy? Isn't it extra yummers? Extra yummers. Sugarcane juice. I miss sugarcane juice. It's really yummy. Sugarcane juice is vegetable juice. It replaces the celery basically. Sugarcane juice is also special in the fact that it helps. Um, it's a little bit more aggressive on the sugars and the carbs, so be careful if you drink it fermented. So yeah, be careful about that. How can you find my herd share? Find it on Instagram. Uh, Find it on Instagram. Message me on the school. Um, yeah, that's where it is basically, is just to get a hold of me. I have all the prices on my Instagram. I think I have a post here about it. I have a post on my TikTok about it. I have a whole video about it on here. Um, but yeah, get a hold of me, message me somehow. I'm on several platforms. It's not hard to do so. Um, uh, yeah. Is it okay if I eat raw fatty ground beef if it isn't fresh? Yeah, that's fine. You'll still heal. Well, not really. I mean, the ground beef is not really great to eat. You need to really get the muscle meat, like real muscle meat cuts. The ground beef is just not going to cut it. I should go rest. I'm okay. I honestly wouldn't mind if humans couldn't talk. It would be a lot easier to find a partner. In some ways. We're holding you for too long. No, it's fine. I could just turn this off anytime if I wanted to. I still have a few more bites of tuna. And yeah, it's not like I have to go to work tomorrow. It's really good on a hot day, which is every day where I live. Yeah, Brazil is toasty, I imagine, quite warm. Sugarcane juice tastes better than celery juice, yeah. Except here's the thing: you need the celery juice and the parsley. And sugarcane juice, as a substitute, it's a good band-aid, but you still should have the parsley and the sugarcane juice. Honestly. Or it would be good to have some cucumber with the sugarcane juice. Cucumber puree. It would be helpful. Why does this diet affect libido at all? Or is it just uniquely different for every person? It should. It's well. I mean, the endocrine system is responsible for the hormones, which is responsible for your libido. So, nourishing your body with raw fats is good for the endocrine system, and it should balance you out over time. You should not be oversexed. You should not be undersexed. You should be in a healthy medium, where if you are in, a committed marriage with a special someone to, make children, then you can do that a lot. Um, it's not really good to do that outside of that, honestly. So yeah, average. Do you think it costs to live primally? Well, it depends on where you live. For me, I spend probably $600 on food a month. That's oysters, meats. Actually, no. Let me take that back. Since I'm getting tuna at $1.50 a pound now, I've effectively reduced my meat cost by 90%. So instead of spending like $300 a month on meat, I only spend $30 a month on meat, maybe 40. We'll say 40, 50. We'll say 50 plus oysters. How many times a week do I get that? Dozen oysters is $8. Probably, let's say $40 an oyster. So that's $90. We'll say $10 in grapefruit for a month. That's $100. Plus, how many butters do I have in a month? 8. So that's $40. That's $130. 2 quarts of cream is $20. That's $140. What am I doing now? 26 for milk. That's 166. Plus the other milks I get is another 21. 21 to 24. It's $200. What am I missing? Eggs. $50 a month. $250 a month. So yeah, I'm spending like $300 a month right now. But this is actually the cheapest, the most cost efficient budgeting in the diet. Oh, cheese! I forgot the cheese budget. My cheese budget is like $30 a month. So yeah, So $300, $340 a month, something like that. That's what I spend. But that's just because I put the time in to find the cheapest and the best sources. So yes, but the grinding is so severe that it causes the meat to not be as good for you. Also, the machinery is sprayed with a lot of chemicals, so you get that residue as well. Pureed cucumber, it should be good, yeah. If you can get parsley with your sugarcane juice, that would be really good, though. I would recommend that strongly. Canned foods, never. Um, I eat fresh sardines or mackerels, though. I told you, I pay $1.50 a pound for tuna. I pay $1.50 a pound for tuna. That's like $30. Okay, so it's like $40. But I'm not spending, $10 a month on, or I'm sorry, $10 a week on tuna. Well, you wanna juice the parsley, so juice it with the sugar cane, or juice it and mix it in with the juice, or like chop up the parsley and eat it with your meat meals. That would be another way. Specific workshops to send to your friend. It doesn't really matter. I don't know. I haven't watched that stuff for so long. Like, honestly, I just read the books because I've been through the workshops. I've been through the Q&As. I've read pretty much everything that was relevant to me, and I discarded the rest because it doesn't matter to me. Um, like, once you learn about the diet and how to do the diet and about your body, too much knowledge becomes a problem. It's a burden. So I don't really revisit that stuff. I just revisit the books, honestly, personally. If I have a very specific problem, I'll go check agenus.net, but that's not often. I was like maybe once a month I have a question like that. But I don't need that stuff anymore. I've ascended. But in terms of a specific workshop, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I wish I could, but, you know. Oh, maybe the cancer convention talk. That's a good one. It's 30 minutes. It's a good one in the book. So yeah, as I said before, there's a cut of tuna called maguro chii. Maguro chii is the meat along the spine of the fish. It's very veiny and it has blood vessels and stuff. Very nutritious, right? But it doesn't make good sushi or sashimi. So this is meat on the fish they can't use. So they sell it for $1.50 a pound at the Japanese market I go to. And that's how I get tuna for $1.50 a pound. So yeah, why would I buy any other type of meat when I can do that? Of course, yes, it's frozen. But I don't care. It's $1.50 a pound. And it's tuna. It's fish. It's fine. But that's how I get it so cheap. Yes, it's amazing. Between that and the butter and the other milk and dairy costs, I've made it. This is great. Ohio's where I live in Ohio is probably the best place to do the diet in the country, to be honest, because I can get the dairy cheap. There's meat, plenty of meat around here, not expensive. Even the beef, $10 a pound for some of the best meat. This fish is $1.50 a pound. Not the best, but for fish, I mean, it's pretty good. Tuna. So yeah, Chris, you're handsome. You should get a girlfriend. No, I'm a Sigma male. I'm gonna die alone, so that's not happening. GMO tomatoes and vegetables, yes, they do. Um, I think a lot of tomatoes are genetically modified, as well as a lot of vegetables. So I really wouldn't worry too much about it. Just make sure they're organic. And yeah, do that. Wash them if they're not, or even if they are, because organic does get sprayed still. Yeah, it's too bad to hear about your friend Ruben. You know, you can do what you can do. You need a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So, you know. But you said this cut of tuna is bad for sashimi. So how exactly do you consume it? It's bad for sushi and sashimi, but it's honestly not that bad. I just bite into it and I eat it and I swallow it. How do you spell this particular cut of tuna? I'm curious. Have I tried methylene blue? No way. That's insane. That's drugs. I don't do drugs, dude. Drugs are not good. Methylene blue is a drug. Methylene blue is a drug. It's not good. I've met people who go manic because of taking methylene blue. They went manic. It also dyes your innards blue. How ironic is it the crowd that wants to avoid blue light consumes blue dye? Insane. Insane. Yeah, pure euphoria and feels great. It's exactly what people who take meth say. That's why they do it. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. I think that's insane to do drugs. And it is a drug. So good luck with that. I hope it works out for you, but no thanks. Just say no to drugs, kids. An MAO inhibitor? I don't really know. Yeah, still sounds sus. And it was a girl, but I don't think that really matters. Godus got me on the diet. Audrey's gotten to human. Well, Godus doesn't really have a diet, right? His diet is trash. Does the taste of this cut of tuna? No, it tastes just like tuna. It's maybe a little more irony, but it's not bad. It just tastes like tuna. Say no to drugs, but yes for high meat. I don't even say yes to high meat because I don't like it, so I don't really eat that either. I don't really need that. I don't really want that. How many? What is the analytics? 11 viewers, 9 likes. Wow, thank you for hanging out, everybody. That's amazing. 11 viewers, 9 likes. Hey, 911. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, magro chi, $1.50 a pound. Pretty much the best meat hack ever, and I found it because let's face it, I'm pretty great. No one else found that out. No one else is bringing you herd shares, the best quality, best price herd shares in America. No one else is doing that for you, for anybody really, except me. No one's giving you elite primal knowledge for free on these live streams. Do I ever eat ginger with your tuna? I used to. I haven't made any in a while, but I used to make pickled ginger. I do have some whey. I just need to buy some more honey to do that. But yeah, pickled ginger is very tasty and good with fish. I recommend it. It's good with any meat, honestly. You should make a video on this tuna cut. Probably get you a lot of views. I could do that, but then I'm going to ruin the. I'm gonna ruin it because then people are gonna know about it, and it's not gonna be $1.50 a pound anymore. So it's not worth it. I'll make $1 off the video. It's just nothing for me. What's up, RJ? Cooked boiled eggs makes my stomach hurt badly. Never eating them again cooked. Good choice. Good choice. Let's make good choices. Make primal choices. Yeah. Two servings of nut formula a day? Yeah, that is bad. You shouldn't do it every day. Only 2 times a week. Holy moly. Yeah, it is bad. I mean, because look at you. You're just spamming the same thing. The deal on the herd shares? Well, it's the best deal in the country. It's a $100 donation to me for the form in your number. Then you pay $20 to the farmer. These are one-time, all-time fees. So it's a one-time fee access, lifetime access. You pay the fee to me, you pay the fee to the farmer, and then you got access to all the meat and whatever you need. He's working on getting another dairy cow because the dairy is a little short supply, but the meat is fine. Pork, chicken, horse, and sheep. Well, I just told you. Don't eat it. You can't do that. You can only eat it 2 times a week. That's it. If you eat it more than 2 times a week, you're going to have a neurological detox. 2 times a week. That's it. You might be able to get away with 3, but what do you think would happen if you ate royal jelly with high meat? I don't know. I've never had royal jelly. I'm a drug addict drinking a mixture of creatine, okay, all this other stuff. A walking nuclear reactor of chemicals. Wow, good for you. Yeah, that's crazy. I hope it works out for you, though. I'm rooting for you, bud. Have you ever thought the elites know who the real God is and will never tell us? We know who you can know who God is too. I gained an air fryer and a bingo. What should I do with it? Sell it. Sell your air fryer. That's what I would do. Or gift it to a family member. Can't afford enough meat in the morning. I consume one lube formula, which is best with meat. Leave me with nothing in the afternoon. Should I eat with lube formula or keep it till later? Yeah, whatever. Do either or would be fine. What kind of sauce do I eat with tuna? I don't. I've done pickled ginger, but that's it. Lemon, lube formula. That's what I do with fish. I keep it simple, like I said. I've had it, didn't really notice much of the components. Maybe food is just better fresh. Okay, a little out of context there. Yeah, food is better fresh. Um, yeah. Oh, is it the mignonette sauce? Mignonette sauce. I'll eat that with fish and white meat. It's really good with white meat, but yeah, that might be what you're talking about. That's the only sauce I can remember. I made and for oysters primarily. I honestly, it doesn't taste very good when you first make it. You need to let it marinate. You need to let it stew. You need to let it stew for like a couple weeks. And work usually stressed. I come back tired. Even though I work once a week, should I consume a nut formula the night before or the morning of the day to help with the stress? Yeah, you could do it in the morning and the night and before. I would do before you go to work that day, and then before the day you go to work, and then the day you work. Just do those 2 days. And then have milkshakes. Milkshakes with the cream are very good. Um, that's probably your best bet. The milkshakes and then the formulas. Honestly, that's what I would do. Milkshake, yummy. Now, formula, yummy. You can take it a step further and do ice cream with little nut formula morsels in the ice cream. It tastes like cookie dough. Royal jelly bee ball and combo. Oh, I see. He was talking about royal jelly and high meat though, but yeah. Oh my gosh, is this person even listening? I was even answered another person's question. Yes, you eat 2 servings of nut formula a day. It is bad. Yes, it is bad. Only eat nut formula 2 times a week, not 2 times a day every day. 2 times a week. Neurological detox risk if you eat it more than that. What food did I crave after being on the diet, strict on the diet? You know, like chili dogs, uh, beef stroganoff, Philly cheesesteaks, um, Japanese beef curry rice with uh, pork katsu, chocolate chip cookies, brownies, pecan pie, chicken and dumplings, soup dumplings, beef noodle soup, pizza, a nice burger, stuff like that. That's disgusting. That can't be real. When's the last time you made your own ice cream? I don't. I need to buy a machine. We make a lot of ice cream at the conference, though. The effects of fresh royal jelly with fresh meat, but I was wondering if it have the same effects on high meat. Yeah, probably. Bro, why is this person asking? I answered it 3 times, dude. Yeah, I think you have sleeping problems because you eat too much nut formula. That's right. That's why you have sleeping problems, dude. So, yeah. Excellent health. He's just a cruise copycat, you know. He's just someone who likes to talk about very complicated subjects to feel smart and use fancy terms to feel smart. He doesn't speak plainly or simply because he doesn't really understand what he's talking about. Um, I don't think he's a bad person, but I just think he's a little, you know, I don't know what the word is. I don't know what the word is. Anyway, yeah. Just kind of, of course, yeah. Blue light's bad. EMF is bad, of course. Getting sunlight is good. That's pretty much to summarize his entire spiel. Um, he's wrong about Ogenus. He didn't take the time to understand and really do the diet because all he did was eat ground beef and eggs and drink milk. He didn't really do the vegetable juice that much. I know because I talked to him about this. We emailed about it. He didn't think to eat fish. I told him, I was like, you need to eat fish. You need fish in your diet. He said, oh, that makes sense. Thanks. And he's like, oh, yeah, the fish is really helping. But of course, he acts like he learned about fish. He acts like he never learned about fish until he met Jack Cruz. Even when his old buddy Chris, out of the goodness of my heart, gave him free tips about fish. I said, yeah, get some fish in your diet. You need it. Oh, wow, thanks. That really helps. It really helps. Jack Cruz told me to eat fish, and fish is so important. What about me? What about me? I have the emails. I'm not gonna be a person like, oh, look at my emails. Look at the emails. I'm not gonna do that to somebody, but like, come on, dude. It's foolishness. And then like people ask him about magnetism. Can you explain they're like, can you explain magnetism? Because he talks about it like, oh, light, water, and magnetism, like they're so important. It's like, okay, well, what is magnetism and why is it important? And then he says, oh, you need to watch the video I did with Sarah Pug. She never explains what magnetism is or why it's important. It's very cringe. It's very, it's just the smallest minds, gullible minds, and stupid people. And that's honestly, and I don't mean to offend anybody watching, but that's most of the people watching media is stupid people. Stupid people, gullible people, and they get wowed by things, right? So when someone is talking about all these complex things and people say, oh, wow, this person must have some authority because they're trying to talk so complex, right? Because what they're talking about is so complex, it must be the truth. But the fact of the matter is, nature is so much more simple than we can even comprehend. And humans try to complicate everything through our hubris, and it's incorrect. It's not true. It's nature functions through simplicity only. It does not function through complexity. So the very fact that people use contrived and complicated explanations to explain nature are wrong fundamentally. So, but people eat this up, right? Because it makes them feel smart. So, that's that whole quantum crowd. They're all nuts. They're all parroting the powers that be. Quantum mechanics and quantum physics is a thought cage promoted by the elite to imprison your mind from actually discovering tangible science and benefits that can be good for humankind. Because all these quantum people say they have everything figured out and they know everything because of all these theorems and equations on a chalkboard. But at the end of the day, they don't because technology sucks. It's getting worse. The quality of life isn't getting better. And they know all this knowledge. If they had all this knowledge and they had everything figured out, they'd be able to use that to make things better, to make technology that much better. But instead, that's not happening. So it's all bullcrap. So Pseudo-intellectual vibes, yeah. He also drinks plasma, and he's one of those people who shines red light on their plasma water and then pray to it. I think that's really stupid. Any recipes, though? I only have raw beef fat, no butter. Yeah, check out my recipes page. Check out my recipes page. Beef fat and pineapple. I have a recipe on my page. You need butter for this diet. You don't really need butter. It helps. Coconut cream is not a replacement for butter. That's not a good idea. I don't like it when a podcast about a question and then they never answer the question. Yeah, that's basically most of the quantum people because they can never fundamentally answer what is magnetism. They'll like give some non-answer or they'll say, "Oh, go watch this podcast where I explain it," and they never do. It's all BS. I was talking to someone who was his family was client. They were clients of Cruz during his paleo phase, and they said he was just a blowhard and his stuff didn't work. So the quantum thing is just a new fad he's doing. The best thing you can do in life is create family and love and take care of them. Certainly a noble goal. Life is suffering, said by the starving philosopher that only eats grass. Well, I mean, life is suffering at the end of the day. So why bring children into an increasingly dystopian world? Because it's called the gift of life. How much butter did Ogenus advise to eat every day? Anywhere from like a few tablespoons to half a pound at least. Yeah. Monetized. I am monetized. So, yes. Thank you for helping me be monetized with the watch time and everything else. I don't really make any money from this stuff though. It's like I make milk money. It's like enough for my milk money, which is fine. I'm not complaining. But it's like people think, oh, like you were in a documentary, you must be like a millionaire. It's like, no, dude. No. Not only grass, also figs. Sure. Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't have to believe in Jesus. He was real. Half a pound of butter a day? No, it's not. Coconut cream is not really the best replacement for butter in the lube formula. It's going to be too detoxifying. Any recipes to replace the formula? No. I told you, check my recipes page on the playlist. Go to my YouTube channel. Go to Primal Diet Recipes. Check out the goat fat and pineapple recipe. That's what you need. The lube formula of raw fat does not have a good texture. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. But I ate a ton of beef fat when I didn't have butter. Is it not possible to overeat on butter? It is possible to overeat on butter because your system will have a problem processing that much fat, especially if you have gallbladder issues. So, it can be an issue if you overeat fat. You really want to space it out. Everybody's body's different, so you just have to know how your body functions. But yeah, you can definitely overeat the butter in a sitting. Through a day, it would be hard, but a pound of butter a day, you're not really going to be able to eat much more than that, I would reckon. It'd be hard to. Have you ever felt drawn to the arts? Yeah, I mean, I used to be an artist. I used to be a musician. I guess you never really stopped being an artist, but yeah, so I used to do that stuff. I'm still very artistic minded, you know. I have style, I have aura, I have taste. These aren't things you can learn or replicate easily. So it's always been a part of me. I've always been ahead of the curve. I've always been kind of a trendsetter. These glasses, I was listening to Daft Punk when I was just a kid in like 2000 when they came out with Discovery, and everybody was wowed by the music and they thought it was weird. And they thought, what is that? That doesn't make any sense. And I was like, okay, well, it's Daft Punk and it's awesome. And 25 years later, Daft Punk Discovery is still awesome. And they even blew up and went mega famous, in the mid 2010s. So, like I said, I was ahead of the curve. So, would you recommend eating honey and butter during fever detox? Yes. Yes, I used to play guitar for 14 years. I used to play guitar for 14 years. I learned to play the basics of drums. I learned a little bit of keyboard. I could play bass. I learned the banjolin. Um, I'd like to learn piano and saxophone. Those are two instruments I'd like to learn before I die. We'll see if I have time to do that. By the way, I forgot how much is a baritone sax. Used baritone sax. Yeah. Oh, geez Louise. Yeah, we're gonna need some money. $1,000 for a baritone saxophone. Okay. And that's the sax I want to learn. I want to learn a baritone sax. So it's got to be that one. But that's expensive. So yeah, baritone and piano. That's what I want to learn. Unheated honey. Yeah, I know her. Ella. She's a nice girl. She's a decent enough girl. She was at the conference. She was one of our contest winners last year, actually. I believe she won second place, which was free registration. So she got to come to the conference, free registration. She's a very chipper young lady. I didn't really talk to her that much. What do I think about Godus? I don't. He's irrelevant. Is it true that sad, broken people make better music? Um, I would say that art is a reflection of being. The essence of good art is presenting something that people can resonate with. Consciously or subconsciously, they can't express, or maybe they don't know how to express, or even that they are expressing it. Because that schema of art is what it speaks to the soul. So, understanding the depths of madness or lust, love, despair, it speaks to people on a level because they understand it at a level even though they're not conscious of it, because those are all part of the human experience and they're very intense emotions. So art is something that you feel. It's not something that has to make sense. Art is something you feel. It's I think like a David Lynch movie is a good example of this, because you watch a David Lynch movie and it's so surreal. There's no there's no real like plot that makes sense, but you watch the movie and it engrosses you, it makes you feel things, and you don't understand it, and that's okay, because that's what art is. It's to make you feel something. So it's not necessarily that people necessarily have to have these traumatic lives and experiences. Oftentimes, yes, I mean it can translate into that, but not always. So yeah. Downsides to pateing all your meat, yes. It's not going to build up your jaw muscles. It's not going to build up your jaw muscles and your neck muscles because there's no chewing involved. So I ate pateed meat for a year and a half. It wasn't that fun. I don't eat pateed meat anymore. It's not that big a deal, honestly. I honestly prefer not to, because I get too much energy. I get too much. Yeah, I don't sleep enough. Like, when you pate your meat, yeah, it's great. You sleep less, but that's a con for me. I like sleeping. So, what kind of music do I want to play on piano? Mostly Chopin and jazz. Chopin and like free jazz, like 1970s Miles Davis jazz. I want to learn to do that stuff. That's kind of what I want to do. Chopin and jazz. Bill Evans. Bill Evans and Chopin, pretty much, yeah. Do I listen to Cassiopeia? Of course I do. You should check out my Primal Bangers music playlist. I have a really great playlist of music. All the music I listen to is under my playlist, Primal Bangers. You can listen to this playlist and follow along. I have everything there from, you know, uh, let's see here, um, to the Pillows and Cassiopeia, to Miles Davis, to Bill Evans, to Pantera, to Pink Floyd, to Led Zeppelin, to James Pants, to the Wu-Tang Clan, to MF Doom, to Hatsune Miku and um, Nick Drake, Grizzly Bear, Radiohead, Nine Inch Nails, um, The Weather Report. Ooh, what's some good other? I can't think. I just so many artists, over 700 artists. So yes, well that's what we're all about. We're all about thoughtful answers here. What do you think about the psychic ground meat being turned into sugar because of destructive molecules? I don't think it's turned into sugar necessarily. I just think the body can't utilize it in a way that makes it healing as much. The most beautiful artistic movie I've watched, There Will Be Blood. It's hard to pin down a David Lynch movie, but I haven't seen enough of his movies enough to pick out a good one. Part of me wants to say Inland Empire. Part of me wants to say Lost Highway. But There Will Be Blood for sure. Beautiful movie. I haven't watched any movies really recently. It's been a while. Lord of the Rings. I mean, yeah, those are really amazing, beautiful films. They don't make them like that anymore. What else? Oh, I would say The Master. The Master. Chinatown. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really too big on movies recently. I'm pretty big on anime. So, speaking of anime though, movies, I don't know. I like Spirited Away, but it just at the end it just kind of falls off. I don't know why. But yeah, that's a good movie. Yeah, stem cell procedures are good. Eminem, Wagner or Mendelssohn? I gotta go Wagner, honestly. The Lobster movie was sort of interesting. I don't know, what is the Lobster movie? Wagner or Mendelssohn? Yeah, it's gotta be Wagner. Or Wagner, sorry. I mean, Mendelssohn's alright, but our booty massage is primal. Of course, the Brazilian is asking this. Of course, the Brazilian is asking this. He's acting up. Yeah, I guess. I guess. How many people are in here? 9? Okay. Yeah, we had quite. There were like 17 people in here for a hot minute, but I guess they left. It's 12:30. Jeez Louise. Yeah. So our booty massage is primal. Yeah. It's very how Brazilian of you. How Brazilian? Stem cell production is sketchy, no? Not really. They use your own stem cells and they inject them into you. I think it's fine. Thank you, Chris. That was very Sigma of you. Well, appreciate it. It's just what I am. So, it's not surprising, is it? But yeah, stem cell production. They cultivate stem cells from your body. I think from like your femur bone marrow or your blood. There's some way they do it. And then they just apply them or direct them to you wherever you need them. Do they also just sell stem cells? I don't know how that works. But whatever. So yeah. Yeah. Stem cells, yeah. Pretty good. Maybe someday I'll do stem cell treatments. I don't know what I would do them for though. So it seems like stem cell procedures is like a hack then, right? Yeah, for some things. So you're like the brain mentor behind all the teenage primal influencers? Um, I mean, in a way, I guess. I was doing this back in 2020, 6 years ago, and, you know, I stopped because my TikTok was going to be banned. So I stopped posting there, and then I just kind of just enjoyed life without having to worry about social media, honestly. And a year later, I started making these YouTube videos specifically about the primal diet, educational. Um, and then this past May, I started being more forward facing, and I upped my content to do things that I wanted to do. So, yeah, I mean, in some ways, a lot of people credit Godus because, of course, he's like the guy who was doing all this, raw meat stuff, but he's now relegated to living as a fugitive on the run from the law. So he doesn't travel, he doesn't give out his location, he doesn't do live streams, he doesn't do vegan protests. He's just living his life on the run for now. Would I ever go to India? Yes, I would go to India. I used to live in South Asia, remember? I lived in Nepal twice. I got pretty close to India in the town of Bairoa, and it was right on the border there. It was awful. It was awful. I got off the bus. I was the only white guy for miles. Miles. Nobody spoke English, practically. And I'm walking out of the turnaround. I'm maybe 50, 30 yards from the turnaround and a car blows up. I'm like, whoa, okay. Some guy tries to rip me off at a hotel. It was terrible. There were no windows in it. The hotels there were terrible. No windows in the hotels. It was like $7. I was like, I'm not paying $7 for this. I find another hotel. It's cheaper, but it sucks. It's terrible. They're doing like metal work on the bottom floor of this whatever. It was like a hotel slash whatever. And the bathroom sucked. There were mice in my bed. I had to move them. Like a whole family of mice. I had to move them before I slept. And they were like cockroaches everywhere. They just like came in our room and like checked out my stuff. And it was just like terrible. It was dusty. It was awful. It was so bad. I stayed up all night. I was reading a book called The Art of Human Hacking. It was so freaking bad, dude. Oh my god. Stem cells are expensive. Yeah. For some reason, I feel smarter in conversation when I'm in ketosis. Yeah, I mean, it's your brain's just working better. Whitewater kayakers in Nepal? Sure, yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that, yeah. This the room probably wouldn't have even been that much better. I still would have had the bugs. I wouldn't have had the mice, but it wasn't worth $3 extra. No, I was paying like $3 for this hotel. Maybe even two, I forget. But I know they wanted something like $7 for the other one, which was expensive. They didn't want to do anything, yeah. Yeah, I know you have to pay for quality, but like look, $7 is a lot of money back then. That's 700 rupees, dude. That's a lot of money now. And it wasn't that quality. The room was not that quality. You have to understand. There were no windows. It was just, it wasn't that nice. The other room was very comparable. It didn't have it didn't have attached bathroom, which was okay. I was the only person staying there. But like it was uh it was the same room. Concrete, no windows. It was $3, $2.50. And so that was more worth it. Chile is a good place to travel. Could be. For how long do bones continue to develop in the face after 8? I don't know. It's already kind of set in stone. And live also. Chile is gorgeous, more expensive than other parts of Latin America, though. That's what I hear. I'm not too bullish. I'm not too interested in South America, honestly. I mean, maybe I'll go to Brazil and hang out with Eat the Bugs 6000. Maybe he can find a nice Brazilian girl to give me a booty massage. I don't know. I guess that's what they do in Brazil. But no, I want to go there and drink sugarcane juice. Let's be real. I want to go there and drink sugarcane juice and eat beef and lay around in the sun and listen to bossa nova. That's kind of what I want to do in Brazil. Um, yeah. Washing underwear with vinegar and baking soda? Great. That's how you should wash all your clothes. After 8 months on the diet, significant changes using pictures. At this rate, I estimate within 3 years or more, I should have no recession. That's my bones are still developing at 19. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good, man. If that's what you think. I don't know about any of this stuff. I started this diet when I was old. I was almost unk, so that's why it's great. No one goes through there to get anywhere. What do you do in Southeast Asia? There's like 1 million people per square mile. Yeah. Whoa, that's very sus. Okay. Again, your Brazilian is showing. Um, yeah, no, there's a lot of people like in Nepal. It's less populated than India, so that's nice. But yeah, it gets pretty crowded down there by the border. But it isn't that dirty. Like Nepal isn't really that bad. It wasn't that bad, at least in the bigger cities. But I think it's a little worse now. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you go out into the rural areas, it's a lot more clean, a lot more chill, so a lot nicer. That's where I'd like to go. Cities are just usually dirty wherever you go, like New York City. Like, have you ever been to New York City? New York City is a crap hole, man. It's awful. I mean, it's wild, but it's just there's garbage everywhere. There's sex shops everywhere. Dispensaries everywhere. Like you go to some neighborhoods and like there's nobody speaking English. It's like you're not even in America anymore. And then like it's expensive and like there's garbage everywhere. It's just crazy, man. You want to eat fish? Then do it. Go buy some fish. Go to a fish market. Go to the store. Buy some swordfish or tuna. You can buy most of that stuff is frozen at the store. Perfectly fine to eat frozen. Not the best, but it's fine. Yeah, there's always certain nice areas. Yeah, it's true. But it's becoming less so. Yeah, it does feel like that in New York City. Upper West Side, Chelsea, sure. Yeah, I mean, there's always nice places in all cities, but um, yeah, most of the city is not like that. So, and it's getting worse. I think if history is any indication. I don't really want to eat that. I'm not going to. What did we do? Let's check it out. How many people are in here? 12 viewers, 15 likes. Wow. I kind of don't want to shut it off because I have 12 viewers. So just keep going. Power on, power through. 12:30. It's like I said, I don't really got to be anywhere. Let's see here. What do I have tomorrow? When's that event? Is it at 10:30? I think it's at 10:30. On the school. Then I have a consult, quick consult. Yeah, it is Sao Paulo, isn't it? I think it is. Because I looked it up last live. I think it was Sao Paulo. He's definitely in the south. Which I hear is nice, I guess. So, yeah. Oh, why does my left ear start feeling weird? I don't know, man. It could be your sinuses. It could be like you have a sinus imbalance. It could be a problem of your sinuses could be stuffed up, or you have imbalances in your jaw. It could be a lot of things. Countryside. Country boy. Country boy's down in Brazil. Wow. 15 likes. 10 viewers. Amazing. You have too many ads. I just found out I can trigger ads. I don't know if the ads are auto or if I trigger them, but I appreciate you sitting through the ads. It's not like I'm getting super chats. Not that I'm asking for super chats, but I've got an ad button. I might as well use it, right? Power. It's kind of cool. Look at that. 1,000 views on my latest video. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not long ago, I got a cold affected mostly my sinuses. However, my jaw is asymmetrical. Yep. Probably, yep. Sounds correct. Asymmetry and toxins, yeah. It's likely. My jaw is asymmetrical too. I think it's because I'm a side sleeper. And I also used to chew on one side of my mouth more than the other. I forget what side that was, but it was one side, obviously, because I had an x-ray done at the dentist's office many moons ago, and they told me, hey, you're uneven. And I said, oh, okay. Free raw milk? That's amazing. Imagine that. Nate Thompson disappeared. He probably got banned. Usually when most people, they get banned. Or maybe he was going to get, like, outed by somebody. Maybe he did something online that wasn't good. The Illuminati captured him. Yeah, I doubt that. I'm not scared of some kid, dude. Do you mind the composite fillings? No, they're okay. Um, they'll eventually like wear out anyway, and then hopefully by that time your teeth are getting stronger and you don't have to worry about filling them back in. That would be good. That's the case with some people, some primals, older primals. There was a story about a guy who had all his fillings removed. He didn't get them replaced, and he was on the diet. And this was a pretty amazing story because he had all these fillings removed, right? And he said, I'm going to do the diet and they're going to grow back in. He was in pain, mind you. These were like real issues. And he had to pate his meat for like years. And after 2 years, his teeth filled back in just by doing the diet. So, yeah, I mean, you get your fillings removed or whatever, they'll fall out or wear away. But you just do the diet, the teeth will fill back up. The oysters are very good for the teeth. Do I watch ISO speed? No. Do I have my wisdom teeth? No, unfortunately. Can't wait to get the vegetable juicer. I need vegetable juice, but my iris has no signs of over-acidity. Is it still beneficial? Yes. You're likely acidic to some degree, very marginally, but the vegetable juice will help. The components of the vegetable juice have different uses, very important uses. So there's a few different uses. The first one, so celery, carrot, parsley, beet. These are like the four big ones. And why are they big? Well, the celery, okay. The celery helps remove like salts and carbs, okay, and the beet juice helps produce hydrochloric acid in the body, helps appetite. The carrot helps remove stored bile from the system. This is really important, especially if you're skinny. The parsley is a very mineral rich, and it helps to collate free radicals in the blood. You need the celery and the parsley minimum. That's what you need. Girl ate oysters for years, and she got a third set of teeth. Yeah, I don't know. I never heard that one. How about those fireworks in the Middle East, huh? Yep, it's World War III. Oysters used to be the most popular food back in the day. I believe it. The theory that Donald Trump is Elvis Presley. There's no way. There's no way because Elvis is actually older than Trump. I'm pretty sure. That's like a super schizophrenic take. Yeah, dude. Elvis Presley would be like 100 years old. He'd be like 90. There's no way. That's definitely not. No, that's insane, dude. That's some schizo. I've never heard that before. Similar ancestry though. That's kind of suspicious. But no, that's not. Yeah. Bait. How much carrot juice is too much? Carrot juice should be about 20% of your juice volume. So, you know, if you're doing 4 cups of juice, that would be a cup and a half roughly. Not a gallon. Yeah, that sounds fine. Raw milk and carrot juice actually tastes good. Yes, it does. Half and half. Gonna watch Alexandria. I don't know what that is. Is it a movie? Is there a psychological reason for being in sessions with someone you find attractive? Probably, yeah. I don't know what that would be though. Exactly the word. It's like I don't know. I'm sure you could like ask AI and they would be able to tell you the psychological definition. I do not know that one, though. I do not know that one. What can you do to increase more fats? Carrot juice, beet juice, pineapple, ginger, lemon. Those are all things that will help. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's what I would try to do. Beet juice, carrot juice, ginger, lemon, pineapple, all that kind of stuff. Hmm. Not onion juice, no. Those files, yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff, man. The lube formula is supposed to satiate you. Yes, it's fats and proteins. It's it's a perfect food source pretty much. So, yeah. The confidence has gone up. Yeah, that's the diet. That's the diet for you. So, I hope you enjoy it. Hope it's good for you. You glue up and shit. Well, nice. Maybe they're taking notice. Taking notice of a real one. So, everybody has their time to come up, to ascend. Well, I'd like to stay on and keep chatting. I have 11 viewers. This is great. But I'm going to go to bed now. So thanks for hanging out. I'll stream Saturday night for sure. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.